right. Well, as we're all entering here, I just want to express how much it warms my heart to get together, and in these times of transition, the depth of what's occurring, in this eclipse portal, it just feels so valuable to gather, at least for me. And so I'm just really grateful to be here. And I particularly want to express my deep gratitude to Holly, the heart and spirit of Katori, and Emily and Rowan and Melissa and all the relations that have come together for this to be here right now. Holly and I just have some of my just favorite conversations. We'll be kind of in our little journey together, and I just find so much inspiration and beauty that comes forward from our time together, Holly, always.
Definitely.
And yeah, please go.
Yeah, just thank you everyone for being here. We're so excited to be collaborating together. We've been talking about this for a really long time and have journeyed to some different places and beautiful ritual space in different places in the world. And I'm really excited for us to be working together in this space and offering this to you. Isis does such incredible work, has such clarity and so much integrity, and I'm just really honored, love to have you here. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this sweet space. I feel like it's really needed right now in this energy, and there's so much heaviness. So yeah, just really, really grateful to be here with all of you, and grateful that you're all here, and grateful for you, Isis, and Emily and Rowan, who are helping us and supporting. And yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. Thank you, love.
Thank you. All right, well, greetings and gratitude, everyone. I just want to share that I'm chiming in from the ancestral homelands of the Nisenan. This Nisenan tribe, also Chacomaidu tribe nearby, and this area is also known as Nevada City, California. And our particular place we're chiming in from is called Sanctum. And so we are coming here to really attune. This is a process and a practice of attunement. And with that, the way that we attune is oftentimes with the Oracle Divination board. So I just want to introduce this board to everybody. I'm just going to hold it up. And this Oracle Divination board was gifted by vision from the Oracle crystal ball, which is a crystal ball that we are in communion with on the regular. We've been in communion with this crystal ball since 2001. And she gifted this divination board. And it took about 13 years for it to come into fruition through a variety of quite magical alignments. And this Oracle Divination board is a blueprint of the cosmos, creation principles on relationship to the natural world. And so we work not only with the blueprint of creation here, a lot of different cosmological blueprints coming together. The tarot is embedded in here as an example, and the tree of life, and planetary relationships and archetypal relationships, astrological, seasonal. It's very comprehensive and very useful. And we also, in relationship to that, work with resins and herbs and medicines from all over the world. And then we also work with this altar that carries different aspects of the natural world. So this technology is a way for us as humans to commune with the natural world and the divine realm. That's how we see it. And some of the older practices and traditions of divination were to ask how to be of service and what offerings to make. So we're really grateful to revive this old way and to bring it forward. And, with that, Holly and I of Katori, we came together really around Kemet in Egypt. We spent some really powerful time together. Holly and I have done a lot of divination together. And this has really been a big part of the strengthening of our relationships, Katori Life and Academy of Oracle Arts. And so with that, in this powerful time, of this full moon coming around pretty soon, this eclipse portal, we really just want to bring forward the heart and the spirit of this as an offering into our minds, our hearts, our bodies, our spirits, and the collective. So with that, how this works is we're invited to write in the text in a little bit inquiries that we may have for the board. And it's suggested up to 3 inquiries. It can be any kind of inquiry. The board does not respond in yes or no because it really supports and stands by free will. And so that way it often expresses in a story form. So Rowan is going to help distill that when we come to that moment. And then from there, we're going to do a reading with the dice and the ritual tools and the board. And then I'll share whatever is coming through from the Oracle Council. And oftentimes there are rites and rituals that come from it. Some of them are direct rituals that have been gifted from the divination board, but any ritual that works or applies is also of great value that is similar. So all this will come forward, but there's a little bit of the technicalities of the board. And with that, more than anything, this is an offering, it's really what it is. It's an offering. And in that way, it's an offering, of course, to assist us in our lives, and then also an offering into the web of life on behalf of the liberation of all beings. So to begin, I'm going to say a prayer here, and you'll likely hear some interesting words that I'm saying, and these names are principles of creation. So I just want to let you know that I'm speaking principles of creation. I'm not like calling in any spirits. I'm just acknowledging principles of creation. So I just want to share that. So I'm gonna do this opening prayer, and then as soon as I do this opening prayer, we'll move into the community inquiry part of the process. And so with that, just blessings to each and every one of us in this waxing full moon. What a potent time. Okay. So I'm going to be working here with some Palo Santo and cedar to begin. Okay. Just want to say greetings and gratitudes here to these ancestral homelands of the Nisenan and all of the ancestral homelands that are gathered all over the world today in this call, and all of those that are watching this in the future, all of those ancestral homelands too. Thank you to the 4-leggeds, the 2-leggeds, the swimming ones, the standing ones, the winged ones, all the holy beings, the insect beings of all of these homelands that are gathered here in this reading. Thank you. And in that way, greetings and gratitudes to each and every one of our benevolent, elevated ancestors, guides, and allies. And in that way, our higher selves and our higher councils. Thank you for dreaming us into being at this time on behalf of this ritual and this offering. Thank you so much. In that way, calling upon the holy ones of the 8 directions and the 3 worlds, to you, Ost in the east. And in the southeast, to you, Hetert. In the south, Serget. In the south. In the west, Nebatet. In the northwest, Nefertum. In the north, Neith. And in the northeast, Ozir. In the upper world, Sesheta Hetert and Nut. In the netherworld, Ozir, Ptah, and Ampu. And in this middle world, Geb, Shu, and Tefnut. In service to the mystery teachings of Tehuti. And coming around cosmic law, cosmic truth, cosmic harmony, and cosmic order, Ma'at. Thank you to the Oracle and the Oracle Council. My humble prayer here is to please help me be a clear instrument for anything that you have to share on behalf of this reading for this full moon, in service to our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our spirits, and all of our relations that way. And please help make everything that is shared here be useful, be helpful, be practical, be of great service, and in that way, helpful for our life. And in some way and somehow healing whatever needs to be healed from the past, to make good offerings in this present moment. And in that way, may everything that's shared here, like that, be an offering into the web of life, tending to any ancestral dynamics that are needed to at this time on behalf of creating more beauty, more beauty, weaving more beauty, weaving more beauty and more peace and healing. Weaving beauty and peace and healing for infinite generations into the future. On behalf of the liberation of all beings, may this offering be of use at this time. Om Knataru, Om Knataru, Om Knataru, blessed be, and so it is. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you, Rowan. I just want to appreciate Rowan here, who's just helping with everything always. Thank you, Rowan. I call Rowan Tahuti. It's a little Tahuti relationship. So I just want to share everyone where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the island of Guam. I'm a Chamorro lineage. I come from a lineage of Sorojanos and Tatangu. So part of what we do is we learn how to listen. Basically, that's our job, is learning how to listen as humans to the intelligence of the natural world and the intelligence of the divine. And so with this practice of divination, we're cultivating this deeper listening, and by paying attention and learning how to listen to the communication and the intelligence coming from multiple realms. And then we do this through divination. So with that, we want to open up this moment to please share in the chat, what are your inquiries for the divination board? Now, they can be personal. Generally, if it's a personal inquiry, it will likely apply to many people. It can be a larger inquiry. It can be as specific or vague as you wish. And then what we will be doing, Rowan will distill all of these inquiries into 3 primary inquiries. And those will be the inquiries for the board. So with that, as they're coming in, Rowan is tracking them. And I'll just share a little bit more as you're doing that. And then Rowan, maybe you can come on the mic and distill them.
Okay. The first 3 that
so
are posted are really good. the first, yeah. Just
you want to read them?
Yeah, Nikki says, what am I being guided to release and welcome in? How can I intentionally engage with this process? I feel like that's very applicable probably to all of us. How can we assist the collective at this time to come into unity consciousness? How to navigate, Osho says, how to navigate through fear of the unknown, how to take a stand for my voice. Marza says, what are the views of the world as we stand now? There's so many good ones. How can we honor the current pain and transmute it into love? I love that one. It's a good one. There's a lot. Rowan, I'm going to let you take it from here. A little bit.
Yes. Do you want the mic? You want the mic? Yeah. Hey, Rowan's gonna say hi. Hi, y'all. Rowan's gonna take the mic and then help us distill this process. Thank you, Holly.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Holly. Yeah, those were some really good ones up front, and I think really applicable as well to the eclipse dynamic. There's also been some about like, how can we navigate this time of stepping into the unknown? And I feel like that's come up quite a few times, so that feels really relevant. I really like the what am I being guided to release and welcome in? Again, very appropriate for eclipse dynamics. Let's see there's quite a few about being on the right path. How do we know if we're on the right path? Releasing doubt and insecurities. Seeing a few ones like that. Releasing darkness and density. Wow, there's so many good ones in here. I think the first 3 and incorporating in the knowing that how we can know that we're on our path. So let's go with I'm going to change the languaging from I to we, since this is a collective reading. So what are we being guided to release and welcome in at this time? How can we navigate through fear of the unknown?
Hmm. But there's a few people who have asked a similar question. It's so interesting to watch these come through because I just feel like, wow, we're literally just all feeling the same stuff.
Mhm.
But what does the world need from us right now? I think that there's that because then we have like the couple personal things, but then how can we give back? And I've seen that's popped up in a lot of the comments, and maybe that would be a really nice third one of just how can we be of service? What can we offer back?
That's perfect. Yeah, because then that inquiry is going to, hopefully guide us into how we can individually make choices and actions in our lives to follow that. So
And
what are we being guided to release and welcome in? Then we said, how can we navigate through the fear of the unknown? So what are we being guided to release and welcome in? How can we navigate the fear of the unknown? And then can you repeat, Holly, you said it so well around what actions or how can we
Rianne,
know
yeah, Rianne Morris said, what does the world need from us right now? And I would kind of verbalize that as like, what can we give back? What can our purpose be? Like, how can we be of service? So maybe what does the world need from us and how can we be of service? I think would be a sweet distillation of that.
perfect.
What do we need to let go?
Yeah, let go of. How can we navigate the fear of the unknown?
How can navigate fear about the unknown? And what does the world need for us? How can we be of service at this time?
Yeah.
Those are all awesome inquiries. Thank you.
Rowan.
Okay, yeah, if you could go on mute for a moment, that'd be awesome. Okay. All right. So the inquiries are, what do we need to let go of at this time? How can we navigate the fear of the unknown? And what does the world need from us? How can we be of service at this time? Those are awesome questions. Okay, cool. So with that, there's going to be some interactivity. Rowan will note, I'll ask some questions for interactivity, and then Rowan just will let me know so I can hear. So the first thing will be telling me when to stop, telling what tools to be tossed, things like that. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge the date. The date is Thursday, October 26th, 2023. So this is the day of Jupiter. Thursday is the day of Jupiter in this altar, which is very much about expansion. Expansion and also like support from like guidance and teachers and relations that can guide us too. And there's a quality of inquiring with our interdimensional relationships is kind of how I see it also, this day of Jupiter. October 26, 2023 in this altar relates to 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 in this altar is about temperance, which feels really powerful. Temperance feels like a key to what we're discussing already. One thing I like to think about with temperance off the bat so much is this kind of like balancing of our fire and our water, or noticing how to harmonize or balance the fire and the water, the alchemical process of harmonizing and balancing. Okay, so with that, I'm going to pick up the board and then Rowan will direct me to anyone from the Zoom room. Go ahead and please share when to stop. Just say stop or type stop.
Stop.
Stop. Beautiful. Okay. Altars lined up with blue lotus. That feels relevant, particularly in even the dynamic of temperance to balance so we can step into more liminal states, dreaming awake, being at the threshold of the seen and the unseen, the visible and the invisible, being able to attune to what is occurring in multiple dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to clean these off 4 times. And the 3 inquiries are, what do we need to let go of at this time? How can we navigate fear of the unknown? And what does the world need from us? How can we be of service at this time? Okay. So I have a planetary dice. I have a dice of the houses and numbers, and then I have an astrological dice and a directional. So with that, there's a quality of divine intervention involved because we never know where the dice is going to roll. So with that, tell me when to toss. Just type toss in there and roll in, or speak it out loud, either way.
Toss.
Was a strong one. Okay. Similarly, tell me when to land. Just say land.
Land.
Again, share with me when to land. Say land.
Land.
Again.
Land.
Again.
Land.
Again. Again.
Land.
Final one.
Land.
Okay. So before we begin, something I wanted to acknowledge that feels really relevant and connected. Well, first I want to acknowledge this Orphic egg from Kotori. When Holly gifted this to me, I realized I could utilize it as a pendulum. And it's actually very effective as a pendulum. And in relationship to this dynamic of temperance and this relationship to the liminal states, and also this time of Jupiter, is really opening up our natural intuitive nature and our ability to feel into and connect into the harmonization qualities and learning what are our yeses and our nos. And so for those that are interested in pendulum type activity, perhaps if you wish, we could do a session just about that on Instagram with this Orphic egg and talk about how to utilize pendulums, because they're actually very, very useful and they can help us strengthen and open up more gateways of our natural intuition and how our currents move in relationship to the currents that are occurring in the world and interdimensionally. Okay, so with that, again, the three inquiries are: what do we need to let go of? How can we navigate the fear of the unknown? And what does the world need from us? How can we be of service at this time? I'm going to be using this tool, and this tool helps to count. We generally have a pop-up here, but we weren't able to pop up visibly. So maybe at certain moments, Rowan, with your phone, you could just come close and people could see. Okay, I'm going to read the dice first. The dice usually indicate the bigger part of the story. So it's like looking at the whole picture. And then the tools, because they were willfully offered when to land, they have a bit of our will involved. So the dice is like, you never know, the dice is going to roll the bigger part of the story, and the tools help us direct willfully that energy on behalf of beauty, the beauty way. Okay, first and foremost, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 21. Okay, so I was looking over here in this region. And this region, we have Jupiter again. And what's very interesting with Jupiter is it's with Nefertiti. And Nefertiti often references attuning to our higher councils in this context, expanding our worldview and expanding what it means to commune with perhaps benevolent support that did not necessarily choose to be born into a body here. Some of the ways that we look at it in our altar is, we have our ancestors that were physically came into form and embodiment. We have our guides that are perhaps ones that did live at one point, like maybe Gandhi or Maya Angelou, or examples that are close to me that did live here at one point, and then their guides we call upon. Allies can often reference animal beings or tree beings or support from the natural world. And in this context, Our higher council is support that didn't necessarily come to be born here. There are higher support that are 100% benevolent. Benevolence is really important to always call and clarify. So this is saying off the bat, you know, we're at a very big moment of a lot of ancestral dynamics at play. And in that, there's like a turning of the wheel. We're at this time of transition, and the choices and the priorities, how we direct our thoughts and our prayers indicate the destinies we call forward. We're at that time, you know, this is the time of the prophecies. We all know this, you know, we were born for this time. And we're a part of this big moment of the turning of the wheel. And a lot of that is dependent on how we see things. What is our worldview? And this one is suggesting to expand our worldview into building relations with our benevolent relations in other dimensions. Now we have to be very careful about who we work with and who we call in. We always do, we'll talk about how to do that a little bit later, likely. However, it's very important to always clarify benevolent, healthy, well elevated. Benevolent, healthy, well elevated. This is calling upon support to help us in this time. And then it also supports this dynamic of strengthening our trust in the bigger picture to support us in continuing our work forward. Now, one of the things the board wants to reference off the bat is everybody keep your light lit. It's referencing this time of the hermit to where, you know, in the work of the hermit, one of the things I love is a hermit is like, it's related to Virgo. And in this context, the hermit is like on a pilgrimage to commune with the sacred, always, all day, every day, communing with the sacred, deep communion with the sacred. And in that way, keeping the lamp lit, you know, tending to the flame, keeping the lamp lit on the inside. And in that way, we become a festival of lanterns. And the more we keep our lamp lit on the inside and we support others in doing that, it helps other people turn their lamps on. So it's almost like we're passing the flame. And in this way, the board is saying off the bat, one way to help keep the lamp lit is to utilize the transmissions from the sun. Now, in our altar, we have this ritual called the Luminous Light Ritual. So we're going to pass this in a ritual PDF. It's for everyone to have. This ritual is really, really simple. Basically, what it is it's sipping in the light of the sun, because the light of the sun in our altar is connected to transmissions, solar transmissions, light transmissions that come from beyond this earthly realm. So we sip in the light of the sun to bring in the light that helps create life. And as we sip in the light of the sun like this, we then bring that light into our hearts, which is our interior sun. And then you exhale, and you exhale the rays to go out in all directions. So you become a living sun. We already are living suns, you know, but we support and strengthen our living sun. This has been very effective for, I know, Rowan and I specifically. It's very simple, it's very effective, and this can help keep the lamp lit, because what the board is saying off the bat is everyone's lamp needs to stay lit. Period. And whatever we need to do to support that, let's do it. And this is also saying this in reference to, on behalf of the future of all life, we must keep our lamps lit. Now we'll keep going. This is also, too, real quick, saying this is a time of initiation. We are in a grand initiation as a species. And so with that, keeping our lamps lit, again, we become a festival of lights, and we help others turn their lights on. Okay, again, the dice indicate the bigger picture. Oh, cool. Rowan put a picture in the chat, and so you can see what we're looking at. Thank you, Rowan. Okay, now we're on the 17th ray, and this is related to the Lover's Tarot card with North Neath. That's so interesting because, you know, my other relation with Rowan is I see Rowan as right now as the Archangel Raphael. That's like how I see you now. And in this context, in terms of our weaving, what we're weaving, this is referencing this moment of weaving the consciousness of healing in through every fiber of our being, where we become stewards and support of the consciousness of healing. So oftentimes when we attune to healing, it's going to get healed or to heal someone or to support the healing energy moving through us. And this is referencing weaving the consciousness of healing in every fiber of our being, in every fiber of our mind and our heart, our body and our spirit. So we become weavers of the consciousness of healing as a way of being. It's like a being. I've never heard this from the board. This is so beautiful. A beingness of the consciousness of healing. And in that way, the consciousness of healing it's referencing at this time can also help us, and not only in our work, our purpose, our divine work, but it can also help us in expanding our worldview and our cosmic view, our cosmic viewing monitor, our worldview, our personal view of stewardship of the consciousness of healing. So everything we think, we say, we do, we imagine, our actions, our behaviors, our habits become the stewards for this consciousness of healing. Now, what comes with that is the healing we need for ourselves. And actually the consciousness of healing can help that, is what the board's saying. The more we attune to the consciousness of healing, we thus magnetize the support that we need to help us in all the ways that we can tend to ourselves so that we can be of service to others. So this is really beautiful. I really love this. It's also referencing to if there are moments, it happens, we forget sometimes, it's just part of it. And we're just always in this journey of remembering, all day, every day in our journey of becoming. One of the things it's saying that can be really helpful is to, as a practice, call upon grandmothers of the star nations. It's like the grandmothers of the holy waters of creation. Our grandma, our grandma's grandma, our grandma's grandma's grandma, all the grandmas, all the way to the beginning of the first grandma, the water, primordial water of creation. It's calling upon the grandmother wisdom to support us in this time, to help us remember, and also to feel that nourishment from grandmother wisdom. Now, some of our grandmas were really sharp and intense. Some of our grandmas were really sweet and loving. And it's that spirit, that like the spirit of grandmother wisdom to support us in becoming the weavers of the consciousness of healing. I love that. It's also referencing too that this is a magical practice. Calling upon the grandmothers of the star nations to assist us in weaving the consciousness of healing is a very powerful magical practice. And so in this way, it's helping us become more conscious magicians. So we're more clear about what we're doing. Part of what the board's saying is, let us be clear about what we're doing all the time that we are spirit in a body, which is all day and all night. And this is where the liminal state of the blue lotus can help us. We start to be more attuned to what we're thinking, what we're doing, what we're saying, all of it. And then that also in the waking state helps us become more attuned to what we're doing in the dream state too. Also, it's referencing our bodies. Like, of course, we remember this again and again through each other, is health and vitality for our bodies in all the ways. It's so helpful for the health and vitality of the mind, and the health and vitality of our emotions and our well-being, and the health and vitality of our spirit. Some of us are stronger at focusing on the mental health and vitality. Some of us are stronger in our emotions. Some of us are stronger in the body. Some of us are stronger in the spirit. This is referencing specifically our body temples as oracles. Where does what in here need attention? I can already think of 2 places, for me. So let us do that and help each other in that way. Key to being stewards for the consciousness of healing. Okay, the third dice. Whoa, okay. So, yeah, you have to say something? Yeah, anytime. The other thing the board's saying, there's so much energy Phew, phew, energy just coming from all directions, from the inside, from the outside. It's just, there's so much fast speed, like potential energy and just energy coming from all directions. Part of what the board's suggesting is the blue lotus in liminal states, like stopping, even drinking blue lotus tea, or blue lotus elixirs or oils. We're a blue lotus family. We can help you get what you need if you need it. But the blue lotus will help to direct all that potential energy. Because it's saying off the bat is part of what's happening for us sometimes is we just almost kind of get like swept and even sometimes distracted to the degree that it's hard to like channel and direct our energy. This is saying this is going to be really helpful for all of us, you know, especially as we start to call in more infinite light from the sun to empower and strengthen the sun in our hearts, really directing it, learning how to direct energy in relation to being weavers of the consciousness of healing can help. Now, how do you do that? By saying it. I am weaving the consciousness of healing. I are telling ourselves, cleansing ourselves, remembering it, and just remembering that we're spirit and a body. And so what are we directing? How are we directing energy? This can help to not get swept up in the tornado of everything, all the emotions, all the feelings, all the dynamics going on in our own families, our own relationships, our homes, and in the world, and in particular places in the world that need our love and attention. You know, directing this potential energy, becoming a channel for this consciousness of healing. This is what it's talking about. It's particularly talking about too, it's helpful for our lineages, our ancestors. It's helpful for our families. Sometimes for some of us, our families the family dynamics might kind of throw us off kilter. It's like more of that, you know, like that. Also, it's reminding us again of the power of our words, you know, what we say and how we say it. Is it coming out with fire? Is it coming out in a way to like be sharp, or is it coming out in a way that is creating more grace? Now, sometimes we need to express our anger and we need to express our rage, and that's really relevant and important for sure. It's not like spiritually bypassing any of it. But the board just wants to remind us that we're all so sensitive and so attuned to so many dimensions occurring at all times. Some of us are studied in that. Some of us don't even realize that's happening. And that what comes out of our mouth can really easily trigger or influence how things are said, somebody else spinning off. So really it's calling upon the spirit of grace and the spirit of the swan. Okay, that's our third dice. Our final dice, it's referencing fall equinox next year. And it's really supporting in our minds this cultivation of trust as a consciousness too. It's so easy to not trust right now. It's like almost harder to trust than it is to not trust, you know, particularly with what is the common influence, you know. So in that, what it's definitely saying to support in that, which is something that my dad always tells me, and I love it, and it's coming up here right now, all the way to the fall equinox next year, is this cultivation with awe and wonder. The reason why the cultivation of awe and wonder is because this is a time of emergent solutions, emergent ideas, emergent creative ways to support this time of the great unfoldment. And we need to support each other in the access to our clear imagination that way. So when we're creating, when we're manifesting, we're creating because of the blossoming that's opening up, versus creating from a place where it's like fear or shame or any of these things, creating from a place of awe and wonder. Now, it's saying a way to do that is biomimicry. So for those that might be interested in that, biomimicry is studying the technology of nature and how looking at solutions that come from the natural world to assist in our perspectives, our homes, solutions in cities, solutions in urban dynamics, looking at how nature does things to support us in learning technologies that can assist this time. It's particularly referencing biomimicry. There's an amazing institute called Biomimicry Institute. Please look into it. There's so much there. And that the inquiry, exploration of biomimicry will help open up the awe and wonder of the natural world in a new way. So I'm excited. I've never seen that come on the board ever. So that's very exciting. Okay, the other thing it's referencing too is because the beauty of the natural world, we're all like, we love it. We love nature. How could we not? It's like so luscious and elegant, you know, to the point we want to protect it. And it's sharing in this way. Well, in our like love for the beauty of the natural world, let us study it and learn the technologies of biomimicry in some fashion. Mimic, you know, mimicking the biosphere. That's awesome. Okay, so moving forward, any relevant comments or inquiries? No? Okay. If you have any relevant comment or inquiries, by all means, go ahead and put it in the chat, and then Rowan and I will share them. Those were all the dice. And now we're going to move into the tools. And the tools often have a way to interact with the inquiries. The inquiries, once again, are what do we need to let go of? How can we navigate the fear of the unknown? And in what does the world want of us? How can we be of service? And we're going to start to look into that a little bit more. First and foremost, what do we need to let go of is the boards like, let go of any resistance to stepping into your natural leadership. When we're being called upon, show up, basically. Now, obviously, we need to be clear about what was ours to show up for, and what's not also. So it's not saying show up for everything, just getting to know what we're here to show up for. But it is saying in our bodies, you know, like, let us clear up and really sacrifice the part of us that, and this is not for everybody, but this is some people in the group, the part of us that is maybe nervous to step into leadership. It's okay. It's normal. It's hard. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, how is, you know, like, what do I say? Like, where is my voice? How do I express myself? Is that, you know, related or relevant? Or even some of us that express so much that we're almost kind of doing it to the point where there's not room for other leaders to express. It's really offering this dynamic of honing in our remembrance of circle of leadership. And in that way, when we honing in our remembrance of a circle of leadership, we come on board because they're at the time of, you know, all hearts, hands, minds, bodies, and spirits on deck. So it's saying to sacrifice any fears around it at all. Now, most of the time in a particular generation, it's related to the voice because of perhaps past life experiences around our voices not being heard or not being able to express ourselves because of A, B, C, and D. This is in this moment referencing let it go. Like, this is a time to utilize our voice. Now, in the process of utilizing our voice, generally, because we're utilizing the power of the word, which is like the divine utterance. You know, when a word comes out, it's like abracadabra. I create as I speak. Rowan always says, when something's coming out, he goes, abracadabra backspace. So it's like something comes out of the mouth and you're like, wait a second, let me reorient that. Abracadabra backspace. You know, I love this. And then share again. And that right there is an interior teaching modality. Because oftentimes when we don't speak up, it just stays in the mind and it grows and it festers and it like just is busy or takes over, creates more gates of confusion, gates of fear, gates of all of those things that we have to pass through. And part of passing through them is naming them. Sometimes it creates calcification or hardening. Utilizing our voice can happen in a variety of different ways. We started to acquire singing groups, so we're doing it through singing, through writing, through speaking, and remembering also in utilizing our voice that it's perhaps one of the most powerful practices of creation. It's a magical practice. So there's like a communion with the sacred through utilizing our voice in any form, always. So let us remember that. This is also saying, we're at a time of our hearts breaking open. Like with the heartbreak comes the heartbreak open. Mm-hmm. And part of the letting go is when our hearts break, whatever it just needs to like break, also like offer that to the compost and just keep opening. Protection, of course. We need to make sure we're protecting our fields as our heart breaks open so that we have a clear container to allow transformation to happen on the inside on behalf of the rippling effect into the web of life. We're at the time of great transformation. So this is what the first ice is saying. It's also saying what could be very valuable for everybody here by next new moon, generally in our altar, after the moon goes full at its peak, like the moment it goes full at its peak, then we go into the letting go process. And in the letting go process, whatever you need to let go of, to utilize that time to make a sacrifice so that by the next new moon, the intentions that are set are clear. So the board wants to suggest after this full moon, make a sacrifice of something that no longer serves you or serves your relationships. We all have something. I can think of one for me right now, and let it ritualize it, and not ritualize it in a way where it's a powerful experience, where you're like writing one really great, powerful experience, very simple. Write what you're sacrificing on a piece of paper and burn it in the cauldron. Super easy, super useful, because then you're utilizing the power of the word to move it from the body to then burn it and let it go. The board's suggesting we each do this before the next new moon ceremony. So there's like a clearing for the new moon. Now, oftentimes we can go and have like super intense letting go processes, whether it's a ceremonial ritual, a ceremony, or an initiation journey, or a pilgrimage, or whatever it is. And this is genuinely honoring all of those, and then also offering a regular practice for it. New moon, we set the intentions, we set the prayer. New moon to full moon, we support it, we tend to it, we grow it, we cultivate it, we live the prayer. Full moon, we celebrate the work that we did. And then full moon to new moon, we reflect, we sacrifice, we let go of, we clear house to then set that new moon intention again. That's what the board wants to support us in doing as a regular practice, because in the process of this time, the intensity that's happening in the world, we are like deprogramming all kinds of things all the time, So this is a really powerful moment for all of us. That's the black tourmaline. Also saying, yeah, come, rose it up. Can they hear you though?
Probably. I would say that I have multiple inquiries in the beginning about how we can use our voice and how to open up the voice. And I didn't speak it, but I wanted to. And so it's just really interesting how it's coming up anyway.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you. Well, the boards always fascinates me, this technology. The other thing the board's saying, which, clarifying everything, particularly referencing mentals, to help us in the process of sacrifice, letting go, especially on behalf of our voice, speak our voice, share our voice, honor our voices like this. It's referencing utilizing mentals to do that. So like full moon is in a couple days, at the peak of the full moon, right after letting go. Camphor is something that's utilized in India quite a bit. Other examples of camphor are in the menthol family, like peppermint tea, peppermint leaves, any of the mints to support in the clarification of the interior temple. all of the insides. It's really supporting and suggesting keeping it clear, clarifying, clearing, clarifying. And the ancient ways that we really follow is cleansing and purifying on the regular. It's an all day, everyday situation. And in my life, I'm getting into the habit of purifying ritual in the morning, a purifying ritual at night before I go to bed. It's a habit that's I'm just doing it on the regular to really, and this really I learned from my grandma she's a sweeper. She used to sweep. She would sweep in the morning, she would sweep in the afternoon, and she would sweep right before bed. And it's a process of clearing energy, clear in the morning. So my day it started with that clarification. High noon. So my next half of my, day, that's what she would do for her day. But in this context, at least, clearing in the morning, clearing right before bed. In my husband's tradition, he does it every time. He showers in the morning, does a quick shower in the morning, quick shower before bed. And that's what he's been taught. He's a tantric yogi, and that's part of it. So this is what the board wants to suggest. Okay, moving forward. Oh, yeah. Part of what the board is referencing in the prosperous perspective, which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling is, I know for me, I've been really feeling all the mothers and all the children. And part of the perspective to help us in this next stage of our life is to commune with the Holy Mother. She is on a movement right now. We think about it in so many indigenous cultures as Christianity grew, Catholicism grew particularly. A lot of different indigenous cultures could protect their practices under the Holy Mother's grace. She could still be the image or the representation to hold that energy to do all the practices. That's why there's so many names of her, Guadalupe as an example. Prosperous perspective is calling upon the grace of the Holy Mother to help us on the regular and to feel and experience the consciousness of healing as the Holy Mother's movement to kind of help and assist and weave. This is what it's saying off the bat. This because it comes up a lot in our altar, particularly. It's like almost like the Holy Mother is like, and even with my relationship with Holly too, and the work that we do, it's like the Holy Mother is a guide. Now, what she's also saying in this context in relationship to each and every one of our communion with the fear of the unknown, particularly, is that she's like the Holy Mother is the unknown in a way, she is the great mystery. And that the fear is energy. And when the fear comes up, it's almost sometimes the fear comes up in a variety of different ways. Like some of us freeze, some of us feel anxious, some of us kind of feel like rigid, or some feel distracted. It kind of expresses itself in a variety of different ways. And what she's saying off the bat is when the fear comes up, especially in relationship to the unknown or the great mystery, talk to it. Mm-hmm. Talk to the fear as the great mystery, as the great mystery of the Holy Mother. And that can help shape and change the perspective of it, so then it becomes the grace of the Holy Mother teaching through us and to us. So it's talk to it. Hello to you, Holy Mother, great mystery. I feel this fear in the unknown right now, and I don't really know what to do. I'm not sure how to engage. I don't even know how to be in it. But I just want to talk to you about it and let you know, it's like that. It's like that, building that intimate relationship with creation and how creation moves that way. And in that way, it's referencing what came up earlier is the naming. When we name something, it's like in the ancient Egyptian tradition, when the body dies and the soul goes on a journey, it has to name all of its shadows and all of the serpents. It has to name it in order to pass through the next gate. This is saying that in this life, And then when we name it in a humble way, in our intimate communion with the Holy Mother, it's not even about another individual. It's about us just being humble at the altar and calling upon the grace of the honesty and the genuine communion through being authentic about where it is and talking about it and naming it at the altar is somehow liberating. It's almost like liberating in and of itself. And then it's saying right after that, a valuable thing to do would be to burn and offer, we're very cauldron based. So if you don't use cauldrons, that's fine. You don't have to, but burn or offer something that's golden, like a golden resin, like maybe sandalwood or amber or frankincense. It's like when you're at the altar and you're communing with the Holy Mother and letting her know of the fears of the unknown, the fears of this great time of the great mystery, and you're just being super genuine, super honest, on the knees in reverence. Share it, because this is really helpful to assist in all the activity in here. Speak it out loud, write about it. Then she says, the board says, burn something golden to then like bless yourself with. Frankincense, amber, sandalwood, anything of the golden families of resins would be very helpful. It's also saying too that because in the mind, we need to fortify and strengthen ourselves as warriors of the healing, the energy of the consciousness of healing. This is like a fortification moment where we get stronger, not to fight, but we just fortify ourselves so that nothing can take us down. That doesn't mean grieve. Grieve what we need to grieve. Cry. I mean, I've been crying every day for 2 weeks straight. I cried this after. We all had a crying session this afternoon, It's like cry, grieve what we need to, and also fortify thyself, particularly in the mind also. It's like this altar dynamic of like being genuine and being at the feet of the altar of the Holy Mother, of the fears of the unknown and how to navigate it and what to do. It's just like letting it move. And you offer some golden resin. Inhale, then sit up in the throne and just like bless thyself with it and fortify thy heart, thy mind, thy body, and thy spirit. We all feel it, all hands on deck. And so these simple practices that are regular of like grieving, fortification, letting go, I don't know, strengthening thyself. This is what is going to help our perspective, because a lot of our perspective, our priorities, our choices, our actions, our behaviors collectively call forth the destinies of our species. So we want to attune to the power of the destiny we're calling forward collectively. Sometimes when we're thinking, oh, it's just me and my little thing over here and my family. I go through that sometimes, me and my husband and my son and our family dynamic, But then I'm like, actually, this family dynamic here is sending a rippling effect. It's like that. Or when I'm by myself or we're in our own little world and it's just like this feeling of my thing over here, it's still sending a rippling effect. And so it's just remembering that together. We help each other that way. Okay. Path moving forward. 9, 5. What? Yeah, please say, Rowan. Rowan's an amazing reader, everybody, just so you know. Back to the lover again. Facing Mars and the sun. There's a shedding occurring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so the lover, in the way that we commune with this altar, it sometimes can like literally mean like lovers, partners, marriage, union dynamics. It also can relate to like the feminine perspective, not woman, feminine perspective, masculine perspective, not man perspectives, feminine, masculine perspectives, feminine like this picture this way, masculine this way. And then oftentimes you'll see the Archangel Raphael as the third perspective. And then oftentimes you'll see in some traditions this relationship between the Holy Mother of Bina and us, the sun, each and every one of us. So there's this like relationship there of crossing the abyss. Now, the third inquiry was, how can we be of service? What does the world need from us? Number one is continue the journey of deprogramming any programs that have been instilled upon us that we know are not our true nature. That is one of the ways we can serve the world, and then supporting others in doing that too. This practice of deprogramming and decolonizing the mind, decolonizing particularly also, wow, that's interesting, deprogramming and decolonizing even beliefs around spirituality and God, Great Spirit, all of it. Decolonizing, deprogramming any programs that aren't helpful. This is something we can all do and that the world needs from us to help us and to serve. It's also referencing, again, stepping into leadership, guided and led by the sacred. So oftentimes, you know, part of the programs, you know, I think about this like even sometimes like the normal business program and structure, you know, like to run business as usual, they utilize this map. And then oftentimes in relationship to that is, in some context, colonizing processes, business at the cost of all things living. And in that way, progress that then is forgetting about what is being affected from it. This is referencing that moment. You know, there's this whole movement right now happening with business as an example of re-indigenizing, really learning the original protocols of indigenous voices and peoples and bringing that into the business sphere. So colonizing our own minds, deprogramming the programs that no longer serve us is ways that we can step into more leadership, and then we can also help others in doing it. Now, part of that, it's because it's talking about, like, remember earlier it was the Wheel of Fortune, or I talked about the turning of the wheel cycles. Part of that is remembering that there's smaller cycles, like there's new moon, full moon cycles, and there's bigger epochs, there's larger cycles. And it's saying learning about cycles can help with this too. Now, some of us are familiar with yugas, you know, some of us are familiar with new moon cycles, solar cycles, sun cycles, and there's Venus cycles, and there's Mars cycles, and there's all kinds of cycles, you know. And the board wants to support us in really getting to know cycles. So we have a relationship with like a clear beginning and a clear end. And one way to do that is with the moon. It is suggesting looking at Mars cycles, which has never come up in the board before. It's always interesting to me what comes up in the board that's new. We might want to look at how the planet Mars, its timelines and its cycles, and consider that in relationship to what might be happening at this time. It's also referencing to, you know, what does the world need from us, and how can we be of service? It's saying, like, remember to shed. Let's keep the shedding going. And then supporting others in these grand sheds. It looks like we're in the process of right to a mid shed collectively. We're not at the second half of it yet, but we're going through a shed again. This is normal. When we go through one shed, we complete it, and then we start another one because we're always becoming, right? It's like an onion. This is referencing helping other people shed, helping other people find their new skin, original skin. It's like, whether it's like in a spa where, you know, you get the skin scraped off, or you're sitting with somebody over a glass of water and like they're just shedding through weeping, or like whatever ways that we can continue our shed and assist others is really, really, really helpful right now. It's a way that we can, and remembering and reminding ourselves and reminding others is that we will get through this. And Word says this all the time. The only way out is through, and the only way through is in. And we will get through this as like a framework in our minds, but not as a way to spiritually bypass anything. but as a way to support the mind and the spirit to actually have the fortifying energy to get through it. It's also referencing here to part of the path moving forward is to make offerings for those that bleed. The board saying it would be very valuable to offer your blood to the earth. There's an old prophecy around, I heard it from grandmother Flor de Mayo. This is one part of it. It's a very grand, intricate, deep prophecy. So please, I highly recommend looking and connecting with her or Carmen from the School of Secrets around the blood mysteries. But this is referencing this one story is that when we offer our blood to the earth, the earth can receive this blood and it will ideally help shift the dynamic. So no more blood needs to be shed through ways that we don't agree with. So it is saying for those that bleed, please offer your blood to the earth as an offering. You know, it is also saying too that we can working with, for those that don't bleed, working with like pomegranate or like, you know, like with a pomegranate, when you cut open a pomegranate and you squeeze it, it's just like the blood comes from, the juice comes from the pomegranate. It's so beautiful. It's so poetic. Where you can also do that with a pomegranate, where you squeeze the pomegranate and let the juice run as nourishment to the earth.
That's if donating blood would be helpful.
That's beautiful. Somebody said donating blood. That's so beautiful. Yes. That's a beautiful offering. And, you know, and I love that. I thank you actually for that. And then with like, for those that don't bleed, the same thing with the pomegranate, where you can like squeeze the pomegranate and just let the juice go to the earth as like food and nourishment. And it's talking about too, because the earth, you know, is so intelligent and it can move nutrients around. It's almost like this interesting dynamic of like the movement of nutrients, like the what's in those that bleed, the nutrients of that, and then what's in the pomegranate, and that gets offered the nutrients of that, and the earth can receive it and move it around in the way that it needs to. The other thing it's sharing off the bat, the path moving forward, is relationship to spiritual leadership. It's like referencing, you know, I feel like a lot of us, we're all here because we are committed and devoted to communing with the sacred, you know, a sacred way of life. That's just who we are. And it's referencing, you know, keep studying and training and learning with those that really care for the spirit in the way that is yours to learn with and support. It's also referencing the passing of legacies. It's sharing that this is a really important time for all of the grandmother, grandfather wisdom, these legacies of these understandings of the nature of creation and creation principles and the sacred. They need to be passing their legacies forward, and they need to be passing it to those that want to, that are ready to receive it on behalf of future generations, all children moving forward. So it's saying, you know, study with those that call you, you know, that you feel magnetized towards, to understand the nature of creation and commune with the spirit and take it seriously. And in that way, we carry forward the mystery teachings, because as something we've learned at this altar is it seems like the only thing that has actually lived, you know, lived through the ages are the mystery teachings, because they're adaptable to any timeline as far as we know so far. Okay, that's the path moving forward. It's also referencing too, again, golden resins. You know, I remember when, you know, a few of us went to go to Oman to meet the frankincense trees. I just like, for some reason, this is coming up so much this last month. I think probably because I need to do it. But like every morning where we were, everybody in Oman would make an offering of frankincense. And, you know, a lot of the men, they wear galabeyas or jalabias. They're like robes. And they would put their jalabia over the frankincense. And then the frankincense would just come through their clothes and come out of their collars. It was so, it's like the visual of it just doesn't leave me. And this is suggesting part of the path moving forward is a conscious, consistent cleansing with this golden resin-like energy. Gold, golden light, golden scent, the light, the transmissions of the sun, the transmissions of the light of the stars, the transmissions of the light of the moon. They're all different kinds of light to help, and then the cleaning of thyself, or the cleansing of thyself with the resins of gold, and in that way helps us keep our lamps lit. It's the golden energy. Then we become clear about what we are magnifying, working with the gold energy, and that is connected to what we magnetize. So we just really cultivate this sun-like stellar energy. Okay, and then we move to the ancestor skull. I was doing a little time check because board can be very communicative. Okay. The board wants to say, first and foremost, that everybody here has mystical healing powers, basically, from our ancestors. Now, there are ancestors that are really close, like grandma, grandpa, moms, like this. And then there are ancestor lines that are really far away. Everybody here has mystical healing powers from our bloodlines. Everyone. And the board wants to support that coming online. Getting to know the mystical healing energy that it runs in our bloodlines. Now, for those of us that are a mix of a lot of different things, it's kind of like, different moments in our life, different bloodline, like traditions become highlight in our lives at certain moments than others, and that's totally good. That's totally awesome. There's something about calling upon the mystical healing energy from our bloodlines that helps us cultivate being weavers of the consciousness of healing. It's like they go together. So also too, there's this dynamic, probably for most people here, is checking in with the left side. Left side in terms of like, do we receive messages from here? What's going on in the left side of the body? It's like this kind of dynamic of getting to know what the left side of the body is guiding us or teaching us about. Like, let's say maybe there's a sharp pain in the left side of the body. That might relate to some consciousness of healing energy from a particular bloodline that needs some attention. But it's really referencing the left side of our body to pay attention to for this next cycle, at least until the new moon. It's referencing actually to pay attention to the left side of our body until the new moon, specifically. Awesome. And it's particularly referencing our family dynamics, like left side in relationship to family ancestry, and to actually call upon that mystical healing energy that helps us become weavers of the consciousness of healing. It's also referencing too in the mind to notice when we're noticing things on the left side, what was in the mind before and what comes in after. So tracking the mind in relationship to what we're noticing on the left side. Yeah, Rowan.
Gina asked, what if you were adopted and you don't know?
Gina asks, what if you're adopted and you don't know your ancestry? Probably likely, Gina, mystical energy that you're feeling or is magnetized towards you, or you magnetize, or you feel awe and wonder to study with and learn from, is probably in your bloodlines. Straight up. Like for me, I'm a huge, I'm a Chamorro woman. I stand by my culture, but I'm a huge student of ancient Egypt Kemet. And I was like, what's wrong with me? I don't know. I should just be focusing on my close bloodlines and, because my culture is very much about and I value that. But then I find later on, through, of course, for me, it was 23andMe, that I do have a little bit of Egyptian. It's little, but it's there. And so that might be the same for you, Gina, or for any of us that relate to her inquiry. It's a great question. Okay. The other thing about the left side that is really valuable, let me count that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other thing about the left side that's really important is that it's almost like what we notice in the left side from now into the new moon is going to be relevant to help us understand what's connected to how we can serve this time? What? One thing it's happening for them right now behind their throat on the left side. Oh, wow. Okay. Our left side's talking to us. The other thing that the ancestors want to share is, you know, in our lefts, you know, the wisdom of the ages is in the water in our bodies, right? Water never leaves, it changes form. It changes form. Like it's the only element that changes form from solid to liquid to gas to plasma. You know, it's just wow. And it's referencing in this moment that this is where it can help us train with being weavers of the consciousness of healing. It's almost like a interior training with water. So it's saying when something shows up on the left side, wherever it is, and that's related to the mystical healing energy that you can call upon within thyself, you can then connect with the water and commune with the water in a cup that then can and speak. I call upon the mystical healing energy of my bloodlines to assist me in tending to this shoulder or whatever. And then that calls upon the mystical healing energy of inside the water in the body that's connected to the bloodlines too, to then come forward. And then you bless yourself with the water. It's kind of like, you know how fascia, this like fascinating aspect of the body, fascia, is it's moldable, it's flexible, it hardens, it softens, it's communicative, it can be communicated to support the interior body. Same thing with the water. Now, how does this help for serving the world? Well, it's referencing at the moment that the more we commune with the water in our bodies, the water in the cup, the waters of the holy world, the holy waters of creation, the wisdom of the ages embedded in the water, we start to tap into the Akashic environment, Akashic records, the interdimensional information of the world in the cosmos. We start to tap into that location in creation. And then that awe and wonder that came up earlier in the reading with biomimicry and studying and things like this, the water helps with that emergent ideas and solutions that we all need right now. So there's a relationship with those. Okay. So the key is also imagine that on the healer. Like, there's like so much about the consciousness of healing. Like over and oftentimes, you know, Ro and I always notice this in these readings. It's like sometimes the board communicates the same thing multiple times in different tools just to kind of like clarify in case we forgot, you know, happening again. So part of what the key, one of the keys that's coming up for kind of like this turning of the wheel moment, our 3 inquiries are, what do we need to let go of? How can we navigate the fear of the unknown? And then what does the world need from us and how we can show up? The key to this is, there's a lot of things, but first and foremost is talking about strengthening the channels in the mind. Now, I'm sure most of us have experienced either internally or in our family or in our communities, dynamics of mental instability. I'm sure that this is common for everybody here in some fashion, whether they felt it, a relation they felt it, or they see it in the community. In this dynamic where there's mental instability or like not knowing how to navigate things because of the fear of the unknown, or like the amount of things that are being cleared out or that we need to clear out, or like how do we show up, all of those reasons, you know, that are all super mega valid. What this is referencing is rituals to cleanse the mind, the activities of the mind consistently and regularly, so that our ability to study and train with the mind is available, where we almost become observing of our own mind, where it's like all this stuff is happening, we burn some resin, golden resin, we clean up, and we're like, wow, I'm in awe that I just thought that. Who was thinking that? And then you're like, thank you. And I'm sending you back to the light. Wow, I just thought that. I'm in awe that I just thought that. Where did that come from? And then you might have a moment from the left side of your body and you're like, oh, that was from that. And you acknowledge it and you say, thank you. Our work is done here. I'm sending you back to the light. And where we basically cleanse the mind regular with this golden frankincense, resin, sandalwood, whatever energy, so that we can then study what's going on in the mind. And in that way, we keep it clearing, keep it clearing, keep it clearing. So then we can really be available to what is happening in the world in a way that is an instrument for the consciousness of healing.
Yeah.
Some kind of music it's like perfect. Like this music is going on right now. And it's like very much what the mind does. You know, the mind is so powerful. Oh, just back to the beginning of Paul Horn. Yeah, thank you. That was really relevant of what we were just talking about. It's always like that with divination. The other thing this is talking about too is like there is emptying the mind, meditation, valuable for all of us always. There's concentration, and then there's contemplation. This is referencing, part of what the key is referencing is to be an instrument for the consciousness of healing on behalf of our families, our life, our ancestors, our global family. To be an instrument for the consciousness of healing, it's very helpful to be able to concentrate on that. And concentrate on what that feels like and concentrate on how to direct it. It's very easy to not concentrate on it because of the infinite distractions of all of it all the time. And so part of what the board is referencing is the value of concentration. They're different. There's meditation, empty thy mind, concentration, learning how to stay focused, stay present. And contemplation is noticing what is showing up through the focus and the presence. And this is part of what this is referencing is when we empty the mind, meditate, we concentrate. One way to do it is maybe you concentrate on a tool that represents the consciousness of healing. Maybe you consecrate, establish something of your home that you already have, or a crystal or an altar item that is the representation of the consciousness of healing. Place on the altar. Meditate, empty thyself. Open thy eyes, concentrate on the tool that represents the consciousness of healing, and just stay focused on it and be with it completely. And then allow whatever needs to travel in the mind to return back to the concentration. Then step into contemplation. And the process of contemplation is so that the consciousness of healing can start to teach you about it. So the tool is to concentrate on it, and then the contemplation is so it can teach us about it, how it works. And then that helps us make of it how we offer in the world as a way of life, as a practice, the board is saying. And it's saying it would be very valuable to do this as a practice right before the new moon. So like it was saying, like after the full moon, there's a process of sacrificing, right? The programs and things like this. And then before the day or a couple days before the new moon, with your tool that represents the consciousness of healing, the practice of meditation, concentration, and contemplation, allowing that teaching of the consciousness of healing to guide and teach you, because that will support and help and assist in the intentions that are made on the new moon for the next cycle. It's like they work together. It's really beautiful. I've never seen this before. The other thing that it's referencing to off the bat in this dynamic, it's like, we're called the Academy of Oracle Arts because of this crystal ball called the Oracle. Something that the Oracle always says, it's true. We all have oracular technologies and faculties, everybody, as part of being human. It's our human nature. And the board is saying, part of opening up those gates of the oracular nature is through cultivating the instrument of the consciousness of healing as a guide and a life force energy. Because then when we attune to healing as a consciousness, it becomes a guide and a doorway to opening up our oracular nature and our interior faculties. We start to train with ourselves too. It's almost like when we value and revere a teacher or guide so much that we want to train with them. Part of like that is so that they can help us train with ourselves too. It's like this beautiful interdependent relationship. The board wants to really support us in doing that. Part of the value of this is, you know, what do we need to let go of? We let go of all the things that get in the way from us being focused, from us concentrating and what we need to concentrate on. It's almost like you can get, what is this? The 4-hour work week or something. And I've never read that, but that dynamic where the concentration and the presence is so heightened that everything that needs to be taken care of can be taken care of at that time. There's nothing that is distracting the ability to focus and complete. Now, this is talking about in reference to the consciousness of healing, particularly. Now, it's saying this too on behalf of this moment with the fear of the unknown, because when we have that, the board's like, when we have that kind of concentration and we start to contemplate the teachings of the consciousness of healing moving through us, then we build a relationship with the unknown. And that relationship gets really, really strong. And we start to become adaptable to the changing times. It's a practice to help us adapt. And then also through the practice of helping us adapt to the unknown, we start to almost feel into multiple timelines existing at the same time, and feeling into what direction we go in is connected to the discipline that is the destiny that's a thriving one. And that requires discipline. There's a reason why discipline came in. We start to attune to a pathway of a destiny that's more thriving. Is this all making sense? Rowan's my viewing monitor into everybody here. How's this in the Zoom room? Is this resonating?
Yeah, people are responding really well. Definitely sharing a lot about the left side, which has been coming through for a lot of people, it seems. Someone has an inquiry.
Yeah.
We have an insight into a corneal transplant they had, calling for a new vision.
Oh,
and the left side is the feminine. So they're wondering if they're being called into a new initiation, into following the vision of their core feminine essence and to deep intuition.
That is so beautiful.
That was Osho.
Well, Osho, that's so beautiful what you shared, because also in the way that we study here, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. The right eye is raw, and the right eye is more of like logistical planning, like the science, sacred sciences. The left eye is healing. It's Thoth, Tehuti. It's the intuitive nature. It's cycles of the moon. That's amazing, Osho, that you shared that. That's exactly how we're learning, right? So raw right, Tehuti, Thoth left, healing, intuition, the arts, creativity. And then both eyes in the way we see it is the eye of head, eyes, the falcon eyes. Both eyes are the falcon eyes of Horus Heru. And then the third eye in the pineal gland is the eye of Ma'at. And that's the eye of cosmic law, cosmic truth, cosmic order. That's the eye behind the two eyes. So the pineal gland is that eye of Ma'at, cosmic law, cosmic order behind these two eyes. So yes, amazing. It's almost like you just reminded us of the consciousness of healing is connected to the left side, to the eye of Tehuti and Thoth. Wow. Thank you. That was epic. Okay. Sekhmet. All right, Sekhmet, what's going on? Oh, wow. Okay, everyone, we already know this. Sekhmet's like, sit up in your throne. Fortify thyself on a regular daily basis. Strengthen the light on the inside because we are in the moment of the tower. That we cannot let the tower take us down, period. We strengthen ourselves, we fortify ourselves, we like brighten the light because every light in here is so important to helping turn everybody else's lights on. We like light up the grid, is what she's saying. And she's saying, like, get it together. We all have, she's kind of like this, everyone, just so you know, segment can be very strong. So to be clear about that. She's like, everybody here has a lot of practices, has access to a lot of practices, has a lot of relationships that have access to a lot of practices. Utilize them and do not let anything get in the way from you using them on behalf of strengthening the light and connecting into this golden silky thread of light that we are weaving together. And let this community right now, this what we call egregore, this community right now, support and help us remember that we're weaving golden threads of light, and that requires our light to be bright and turned on. She's like this. Fortify thyself on thy throne. You know, she sits on her throne, which is her body. And she says here right now with the sun and with tower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's like, do not let our you know, grieve and grieve and grieve and like move it forward. And then if it feels like it's so much that it's like we can't get back up, utilize the luminous light ritual of the sun and the warmth of the flame and the warmth of the Yule log to sit up, to enlighten thyself on the inside, bring in the divine spark of creation to like sit up in the throne again and hold the light. I mean, this is all stuff we know. And she's like, we all know this, so get it together. You know, that's what segment has to say.
Kind of into the messages of the Mars cycle.
Oh, Courtney said tying in with the Mars cycle. I thank you for saying that, Courtney, because I have never actually consciously fully tracked Mars before. And so I'm going to do that. Thank you. Courtney's an amazing reader too, everybody. Just saying. We're going to have a whole list of readers coming online in this newsletter coming up. Okay. Okay. Lilith, for those that are afraid of Lilith, probably for a good reason, she helps us face, most of the time, the way that she's been demonized is that she's demonized to birth demons. But in the way that we understand it, she just helps us see our own. So sometimes the fear that we hear around the name Lilith is for us to face our own demons, which is important, you know? Let us not be afraid to get exorcisms or Olympias, whatever it is. Let us take care of things, move it out, keep it moving. So everything that we like to say at this altar, keep it moving, you know, on every level. Keep it moving in the ritual, keep it moving in the conversation, keep it moving in the body, get the thing, move it out, keep it moving, train, study, keep, not rush so fast that we don't know what we're doing. Just like keep it moving, because we're always moving. We're never not moving. And so when we tune into the energy of keeping it moving, we're remembering that we're moving and we're always creating, that we're always making something. We become more tuned to what we're making. Okay, Lilith, she is like fully surrendered on her body, on her face, her womb, her skirt, and she's on Venus, Sun, and Mars. And she's particularly like, her face is in Venus. She's lined up with 7 in the mind. And then she's also lined up with the oracle of our nature, our true nature. Everyone has access. her womb is over the sun and her skirt is over Mars. The way, and she's mid-shed. I feel like what she's saying here is that feeling of like absolute prostration to the majesty of creation. Particularly the simple practice, sevens often reference earth, and there's a lot of sevens here. Like, just, we might need to literally just lay flat like this on the earth sometimes and just do it on behalf of the nourishment, the conductivity, the magic that happens with the soil and what's beneath the soil and the trees and the mycelial network and the brush and the flora and the fauna and the wind and the sky and the stars and the birds. It's like laying down fully like that in full surrender is a way where we can tap into the intuitive nature of the earth too. We're strengthening our ability to hear the wisdom coming from the intelligence of the earth, because we're connecting our tree of life, our body, our water, our breath, our full self and surrender to the earth. There comes like almost like a relationship of the body of the self is the body of the earth dynamic. It strengthens that relationship. Now, why is that valuable? Because part of us tuning into what the world needs of us and how to serve is by listening to what's going on with the intelligence of the natural world too. You know, it's like if we explore this relationship of our individual body as the body of the earth, the human realm as expressions of the body of the earth, the divine cosmic dynamics connected to the body of the earth and the body of the human experience. The more we attune to that, the more we're able to hear how to support and co-shape together. The more we turn away from that or we forget to do that, the more we forget. So we're shifting out of the great forgetting into the continual remembering. You know, like giving, letting go, giving all up of the forgetting on behalf, getting comfortable with the unknown and the great mystery, surrendering into it to then fortify thyself to be able to sit up in the throne, bear the light, strengthen thy heart, their mind, thy body, and thy spirit, and then be an instrument to support and serve others in a circle of leaders. And so part of what this is saying is like this, we're a council together today, you know, in this divination together. And the more that we commune, and however it is that we commune, even if we don't make it to the next new moon or the next full moon, but we're still attuned to the dynamic that is occurring, this becomes the golden like thread family that's weaving together. And we can call upon each other energetically to support us in the weaving. If we feel like the light's turning off a little bit, we can remember the golden web that we're weaving in this dynamic, and we can call upon it to help us fortify ourselves again. We start to build a web of relationships that are doing it together. And this way we become a festival of lights. So this is what the board has to tell us today. So I'm going to make this offering, and then we'll have a bit of time for reflection. So I want to say thank you to all the holy ones, the directions in the three worlds. Say thank you to the Oracle Council. Thank you to each and every one of our benevolent, elevated ancestors, guides, and allies, our holy guardian angels, or our councils. Thank you to all the ancestral homelands that are gathered from all over the world today and in the future. Thank you to the spirit of Katori, spirit of Academy of Oracle Arts, and each and every one of our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits that dreamt us together here today for this reading. And thank you too for all the guidance that was offered here today. May we remember it, and may it be useful helpful, practical, beneficial, supportive, easily integratable to assist us in a sacred way of life, a ritual way of life. So everything we imagine, think, say, and do is connected to being instruments and stewards for the consciousness of healing at this time. And with that, we say blessings this full moon and this time of the eclipse. And thank you like that. Om Knetru, Om Knetru, Om Knetru, blessed be, and so it is. Okay. So that is the reading today. Maybe Rowan, is if there's any feedback or anything that anyone wants to share, we have a few more minutes. Just want to open that up. Rowan says if you'd like to come off mute, please raise your hand and Rowan will call on you. I forgot to mention in the beginning, if you have some water, now's the time to drink it because a lot of the information that came forward is in the water, in the body, and then the water in the cup, and they kind of like hang out and collaborate. Do you want to?
I also want to just take a moment. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to you. Thank you so much for being such a beautiful carrier and such clear just voice for the wisdom. You have so much wisdom. My body feels so quiet and nourished. And I'm so grateful to know you and just the beauty that you bring forth and all of the detail and all of the intricacy of everything that you're speaking to and able to bring through is really, really profound and really special and unique. And so I just also want to bring you into the prayer of gratitude and just thank you so much for all of the beauty. I'm just like basking, glowing in it. I just wanted to bring you there.
Thank you. It's such a profound honor to serve in this way, because I learned so much from it. Like there were so many things that came up in this reading that I've never heard before. Same with Rowan, and it's almost like Lilith laying on her face and on her womb, on her skirt. Like this board is the way that we see it as an engagement with the great mystery. This is the unknown. And so we learn a lot from her this way. So thank you for honoring me as a steward for it and a voice. And it's just my complete honor. I really received a lot from this reading.
So much. I have pages. I was like, I'm just going to listen and receive. And I was like, oh, no, I have to like write this down. Like writing so much down. There's so much medicine and actually just practical practices and ritual that you brought through that feels so supportive, so simple that I feel all of us can really utilize, but also just so supportive. And I think I actually made a list of the specific practices that you kind of brought through in each thing. So I'm happy to also type that up and send that to everyone, or we'll publish this in the journal as well. So we can make like a really clear list of these practices that you can work with from now to the new moon that Isis brought through. And yeah, thank you so much. I love you.
Awesome. I love you too. That'd be awesome because I'd like to do them also. Sometimes I don't remember it all. So yeah, thank you. Music. Okay. Okay. Holly Courtney was scribing too, so maybe there's some mutual support there. Awesome. Did somebody raise their hand? Grace, you want to share?
I just had a question about how we can step forward into our leadership and power with an open heart and then also stay protected. So I have a lot of
that's a good
with that and like getting really, really open and then having energies come in that I don't want. And so how do we navigate that right now?
Well, I can share a ritual that was passed from the board previously that has been very helpful for me. So what I've been doing regularly lately is, and this came from the board, so it's an official passing from it. It was said, first it said 4, you can start with 4, later it told me 8, and then above and below. So first establish your 4 pillars. Pillar A, B, C, D. You could do it directionally if you want. Establish these 4 pillars. I am now been establishing 8. You can do that if you want. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then a pillar establish up there and establish there. Right? So it said, you can start with 4 and then do above and below. Then it said, once you've established your pillars, then fill the start of the outer pillar and like fill it in a circle in a clockwise motion with a frequency or a color that you really resonate with. So mine is pearl. So I like fill it with the pearl here by doing a clockwise motion. Don't forget behind. Sometimes the board was saying oftentimes people will focus on protecting in their peripheral and in front, but they'll forget to protect behind. So the board was like, make sure you protect from behind. So that's why the 4 pillars are like this, or 8. So you fill it in a clockwise motion with a color that you're working with. You can use pearl if you want. That's what I do. When you feel like you're inside a bubble of that color, for me, inside a pearl, then do another layer on the outside. For me, it's gold. Particularly, it was referencing a metal, if you want, whatever color is important to you. So then I put a gold layer over it. So then my first layer is the pearl, my second layer is the gold. And then the board said after that, this was in another reading later, so the board kept working on this ritual over time. It said, then do layers of mirrors out in the 3rd layer facing out. So then you do a layer of mirrors and your whole circle facing out. And so anything that isn't of benevolence or ours to work with just gets reflected back. So layers, pillars, 4 or 8 above, below, fill it, your first bubble, your second bubble. And then if you like that, the next bubble is the mirrors facing out. So everything gets sent back to where it returns to. That's something that is very effective for me. So hopefully that's useful.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Reading. Thank you.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Oh, Grace, this is what came on the board.
I know
Earlier
it kept saying Grace so many times.
Yeah.
I really loved it. Yeah, thank you.
Any other words or inquiries or feedback?
Natalie said that someone shared, Mauricia shared a ritual with them, which involved digging a small hole in the earth, lying belly down, and whispering prayers directly into the earth, which they thought was relevant.
Oh my God, what a beautiful ritual. For those that didn't hear, like digging a small, from Mauricia?
Yeah, Mauricia.
Mauricia, like digging a small hole in the earth and laying down like Lilith and whispering prayers to the earth. That is so beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Okay. Unless there's anything else, I will just go ahead and close. Okay, so
Isis, before you close, we were talking earlier. Do you want to offer a prayer for?
oh
I think
yeah.
I think we should. Maybe as we close, maybe you can offer a prayer and we can.
Yeah. So much to pray for. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna use a little bit of tobacco that grew on our land, volunteered some cedar from the land and lavender from the land. Okay. grandmothers, grandfathers, the star nations, holy ones, four-legged, two-legged, swimming ones, standing ones, insect beings, the holy beings of creation, ones that, the benevolent ones that do us well, the east, the south, the west, and north, above and below and center. We come here as your children. We come here as your children on our knees at this time of transition. And we come here humbly on behalf of showing up to pray peace, showing up to pray peace in the best way that we know how, and in that way trusting that our attention, our hearts, our minds, our thoughts in this way somehow in some way create some sort of action, some sort of weaving, some kind of offering, some kind of tending. Send that tending and that care to all of those that could benefit from it now. Somehow in this pray peace feeling, this pray liberation feeling that we cultivate here humbly at this altar at this time, on behalf of our benevolent elevated ancestors, our guides, our allies, our holy guardian angels, all of our relations, our higher councils that way. This golden web of tending to the light that we do here today. We pray peace amongst all nations. We pray peace into the hearts of all of the children, all of the mothers, anyone that needs that feeling right now. And we pray peace with these golden threads of light to tend and mend any fissures in the web. Tend and mend any fissures from ancestral traumas, ancestral cultural traumas, anything that has led to what we're experiencing right now on this holy earth, Creator. We ask for help that way. Uplift us that way. Uplift us to help and uplift us in that way to tend in the ways that we can, and trust that in our tending that this rippling effect of pray peace, pray liberation moves and travels through our bodies, through the land, through the waters, through where we are, and touches all of the places that needs it right now. And all of those, Creator, those, the innocent ones that have had to have had their lives, their bodies sacrificed. Help their souls in their journey home. Bless their souls in their journey home. May they be free and liberated and home in the celestial kingdom. And those, Creator, right now that are suffering in any way, shape, or magnetize towards them the help, the support, the food, the water, clean water, the food, the resources, everything that they need and more. Any walls blocking that, may they come down. And somehow and in some way, may the hearts of all of those in leadership positions wake up to this remembrance of the beauty and the preciousness of all life. The beautiness and the preciousness of all life and all of the life of these children. Creator, help them now. And with our attention moving forward every day and all day, pray peace, praying liberation, that somehow and in some way, very quickly and very swiftly, globally, we come together to assist and help and utilize our attention in that way to bring clean water, good food, medicine, everything that is needed and more. And in this time of sometimes so many distractions or so much immensity and so much intensity that it's almost like we can't handle it anymore. May we fortify ourselves and may we sit up and stay present with it in a way that is also solution oriented. May we attract and magnetize swift solutions that are graceful. In this time of transition, you know, as the tower is coming down, may the light that is cultivated here in this golden thread, this golden web of the consciousness of healing, spread all across this holy earth and touch the hearts and minds and bodies and spirits of all those in leadership and power. Lay down, lay down and lay it down, period. Holy Water Spirit, Holy Mother, that way. We ask your grace, the light and the grace of your, the consciousness of grace to move across this place, this holy land. And tend and nourish all that need it now. May the light shine from within and may the light shine upon. Calling and magnetizing all support, calling and magnetizing to resources, those that are in wealthy positions to utilize their resource and their wealth to assist in these times too. May we light up the grid all day, every day, and staying in pray peace, pray liberation in our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and spirits all day, every day. On behalf of the liberation of all beings, human and non-human, healing anything that needs to be healed from the past, making good offerings in this present moment, may we support and sustain and tend to all life, the preciousness of all life for infinite generations into the future. Om Natadu, blessed be, and so it is. Oh. Oh, thank you for asking me to pray.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we're crying every day these days. Okay, well, blessings, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful, and I look forward to communing together again next full moon.
Thank you, Isis. Thank you, Beauty.
Have a beautiful evening. Oh, wow. Strong. Okay, good night, everybody.